Do we have a proposer?
Yeah.
Yep. And the seconder? We're all in favour? Thank you. 23, 24, 23. Disclosure of interest to receive declarations of interest from councillors on items on the agenda. No? No. To receive written requests?
None received.
Fine. 23, 24, 24 minutes of previous meetings circulated. And I will so approve them.
Second it.
All in favour? Thank you. Have we any confidential items that we wish to move?
None.
23, 24, 26 with no public participation. 23, 24 ongoing issues, any notified planning panels?
None.
We haven't, have we?
We haven't heard anything about Crosslats Cricket Club yet.
No, no, I've seen something somewhere, but
Because it was going to an
it's gone to appeal, I think, hasn't
appeal
it?
for the refusal. I don't know when it was.
They can take some time.
Crossflats. I'll make a note. Cricket club as well. Any notified appeals?
No.
Oh, no. 23, 24/28 previous plan applications. Unfortunately, Nicola was unable to print it off and asked those that were interested if they could print it off at home
I just
because
seen an email.
her computer has died. I was surprised with that Tappan Homes retrospective application. We made no comment and they refused it, so presumably they were taking them down.
Which one was that at the top?
Can you just put it up, Brenda, please?
Which one, sorry, what's
The planning application. Yeah, they took.
Which one was that?
You know the sheet.
Yeah, I can't get it back up now, it's gone. I don't know what's
All
happened to
right.
it. Have you got the number and I can put it on the portal?
No, you don't.
22
Yeah.
04822. Close.
0408.
No. 04822
2. Tappan Homes.
/advance.
We made no comment and they refused it. So presumably they've had to take the 3 gable mounted fascia signs down.
Just bear with, sorry. Right, so documents.
Delegated officer report.
Delegated
If we
officer
need to
report.
look. So, and it's there, it's noted. The next one was Oakland's Hollyoak. We recommended refusal on the grounds of overdevelopment, loss of trees and access, and they granted it. And I've just been talking with David about Howard House, Darley Gap. We recommended refusal on the grounds of highway safety, and they've granted it, saying there'll only be at the most 1 wagon a day. One
They're going to
large
sign
wagon
in,
a day.
sign out, yeah.
And finally, the one at Grange Park Road, Cottonley, that Ashraf refused on the grounds of disproportionate size and unsympathetic design, resulting in an incongruous and over-dominant addition to the existing dwelling, and they granted it.
I was surprised about that because initially they refused it, and
So-
on the same merits. So I was surprised that they approved it after
I know.
refusing it.
So with that then, can we move on? Number 1, consideration for applications 23, 24, 29. Number 1, 23/017009, Philippa.
Right, so do you want to bring it up and go
It's searching.
to the bottom document, which is the design and access statement, which is probably the best.
The bottom document.
Where is this site on Keighley
It's old
Road?
Coolgardie opposite.
It's opposite the
Big
school.
Bottom document.
Oh, them 2 fields.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you used to have the farm with the big
Design.
silos.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, that's
designed
all right.
and
That's
Coolgardie.
All right.
So it's 90 residential dwellings in that site. It is opposite the school. It's just up from the school gates. They've said they don't don't think there's going to be any traffic issues. We think there's already thousands of traffic issues at that site. So I think there needs to be some decent traffic management to be associated with this. If you scroll down, Nicola, so that's basically where the site is. It is opposite the school. The bit up on the top left with the little circle on it is the main turnaround for the school entrance. Do you know where I mean?
Where's this where you're talking about?
Opposite Bingley Grammar School.
It's opposite Bingley Grammar
That's
School.
recess in the.
Yeah, so this bit.
You can just come and
That's the turnaround.
So this
Thanks
bit
for
is
that.
this bit is the main turnaround into
Oh,
and out
that one, yeah, yeah.
into and out the school, and then there's other entrances here and there.
Yeah.
But so it's smack bang in the middle.
That's
of,
where the buses wait. They wait on that turnaround,
yeah,
don't they?
yeah. So it's smack bang in the middle of where all the traffic is in the mornings and in the evenings. So if it gets approval, I would think we would want a condition on it that restricts construction traffic during the morning school rush hour and the evening school rush hour. It's 90 houses. The actual design's not too bad. If you scroll down a bit, Nicola, in this document, apart from the fact they keep mentioning this is obviously a cut and paste document because Hay Green Lane that's mentioned there is another development they've done in Barnsley.
Attention to detail.
Yes, and it does mention Barnsley a few times in it. So I'm not even sure of the pictures on the right. The picture on the bottom left definitely looks to be the site looking towards Sledingford.
Right.
If you scroll down some more, that's what they're saying is local housing looks like. Carry on.
What's their local housing look like?
That's the stuff they're doing about habitat, which I'll talk about in a little while. We'll get to their housing in a sec. So this is basically the proposed layout of the site. As a layout, it's not too bad, I don't think. Actually, it's reasonably spacious. Nothing too much too contentious there, I don't think. If you scroll a bit more.
That one.
Yeah, that one. So that one, the colour coding shows what size the houses are.
Yeah.
In terms of what we've got in our embryonic neighbourhood plan, we're recommended in that large sites should have no more than 10% 4-bedroomed houses or above. This has 23% 4-bedroomed houses.
right. More than double what we.
So it's
said.
more than double what we think is appropriate. It's effectively 2, 3 and 4 beds. We would like more 2 and 3 beds rather than 4 beds, I think. It has got affordable housing on it. The two at the top there are the affordable housing provision within it that they've earmarked. I think if it goes ahead, we would definitely want that to be built and be on the site. We don't want it traded away or traded down through a section 106. Keep scrolling. They are taking out some trees to build it, and this is their landscaping plan going forward. That seems a bit hit and miss to me. It's almost where can we plonk a tree? So I think that needs more thought. Keeps growing. Yeah, they've got access, and they say that you can turn a vehicle round in it.
Is the access only one way or is there?
No, that's 2-way.
Is
You'll have
two-way?
to two ways.
It's the one entrance.
The one, that's what I'm
It's the
saying.
one
is
single entrance
they're going
for all.
one way, but they're not coming out a different route.
No,
It's in and out at the same room.
Oh,
it's in and out, and it's a loop round the site.
Yeah.
So these are what they've got as the main routes through the site. Noticeable for me on this one is that there is no separate pedestrian routes through the site. So unless you're walking by the side of the road, there is no separate pedestrian route, which would seem somewhat ridiculous given the nature of the site. If you're on that house at the top right and you're going to the station, it looks to me like you've got to walk to the middle, walk out up the road, walk double back on yourself, go back into the station, and then come round. So it seems that they need to think more about pedestrian access and routes through.
Well, them white lines going around the perimeter pedestrian footpaths.
Yeah, that's the road essentially, but there is no separate pedestrian route through the site. There's no
Is that
footpath.
is that just gutter basically?
It's a footpath.
Footpath, yeah.
It says it's a footpath, but there is.
Oh, you mean cutting across?
Yeah,
so,
there is
yeah.
no separate pedestrian access anywhere other than walking on the pavement at the side of the
Right,
road.
yeah.
Do we need to scroll down a bit more?
I think we're almost there. Most houses have got car parking in front of them.
Two spares, yeah, 2 bays.
I read about I think it was the highways consultation. They said that some of them had too many car parking spaces, and that they'd recommend nowadays only having 1 car park space for 2 and 3 bedroom.
Do they?
That's
I'll
well,
go back to that silly idea.
and you know, I'm guessing to try and encourage
Scroll down.
people to use public transport more, which would tie into the whole pedestrianisation area of the area.
Okay.
But they also said that the driveways aren't big enough.
They're possibly not. You can't tell from this, given the
No.
nature.
It was on one of the
Pictures.
consultations. It said it's
Is there any more we need to look at, Philip?
No, so I think.
So what's your proposition then?
I think at this point it needs rejecting, and we need to be saying they need to think again about the landscaping, they need to think about the car parking, they also need to think about cycle storage, because it says all properties will have cycle storage, then it says people can put up sheds in their back garden. That to me is not providing cycle storage. It also says, I think we must have scrolled past it, but some of that, it's proposing that the houses are either red brick with grey roofs or buff with other roofs. But there is no red brick housing at all
Right.
in the area.
No, that's true.
So red brick and terracotta or buff brick and grey roof. So all housing needs to be buff, and it needs to be similar to
More sympathetic to the area.
more sympathetic to the area.
Buff with grey.
So,
Yeah.
oh, you got all that, Nicola?
Yeah. And the other thing, I don't know if it's just me and modern housing developments. There's 90 houses. There's 11 different designs of houses. It almost seems to me like someone takes a load of Lego and just throws it up and sees how it. And it talks about a sense of place. For me, a sense of place would be more coherent and consistent designs, but that might just be me.
So Philip has proposed refusal on the grounds that we've heard.
Can we have a few other issues into it?
Yeah.
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 Do you want to add?
I've got no pedestrian route, times of access for the school. Certainly during construction, you wouldn't want anything in the school rush hours. You probably
else?
then need further traffic management once it's built, because if the school doesn't sort out drop off, they're all going to be in there.
What else?
I'd like to sort of echo some of Philippa's comment about the build materials. It's got to be in local vernacular, and it isn't. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh, it will do, yeah.
So, they need to go back and assure us that it will be in keeping with
The local
that part
environment.
of
Yeah.
the area. Now, I have some experience of traffic issues from a previous life in that area with various streets and the woefully inadequate lack of parking, drop-off spaces, or parents' ability to follow highways code.
Yeah.
We, as an authority, have had to spend a lot of money on giving local streets access only and resident parking. Now, if this developer wants to do this, I think we need to put a caveat in that if Bradford are mindful, we might want to refuse, but if Bradford are mindful to approve, we would like to see and give them a list.
Yeah.
So, Philippa's point on materials, traffic regulation orders for the estate for access only and resident only parking. We can quantify that with already Bradford as a district has had to spend a lot of money on other local roads, combating issues from the school.
Yeah.
That leads on to issues from the school, trying to get in and out of the development, and it's not exactly clear how they're going to manage the conflicts there. If you were coming in from Bingley to turn right into that development, you've got cars everywhere, you've school children everywhere a couple of times a day, and you are going to cause so much congestion without proper filtering lanes for a turn right into that development coming from Bingley. So they need to consider that. Also, for the residents trying to get out in the morning, where it's parked up, there's hundreds of kids and an exceptionally busy road in both directions. How are the residents going to safely exit that site?
They're not.
Isn't there a filter in on the coming out when you're turning left? It looked as though there were a filter.
Yeah, but you get to main
No,
road.
but coming back you can't. But going out you can get on it. If you're going towards Bingley,
Yeah.
it looks like there are a filter in it.
Yeah, but if you are
It's right across the
trying
road.
to cross,
Yeah.
the cars coming from Cross Flats, they're not going to let somebody out, filter
no.
lane or not. One might pose the thing, due to the closeness to the school, does this junction need to be traffic light controlled?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So have you managed all that? Nicola, have
It
you got-
probably does, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And remove one of the pedestrian
Yeah,
pelican
you
lights
could-
and make
yeah,
it
you
those
could.
traffic lights.
So we
But
have,
as a suggestion, because of the proximity of the school, the number of kids that walk, the historic issues with parking at the school, around the school and in local streets, we just can't let this be waved through without them coming back with some thoughtful suggestions on how they're going to combat that, because you're going to have, well, there's 90 houses, so that's going to be 180 cars plus the four-bedroom ones will most likely have a car as well. So you're going to have hundreds of cars trying to get out at rush hour. Coming back in might be a bit more staggered, but there's still an issue with the turn right in from Bingley. So I don't think that's been addressed at all in the proposal.
so Philip has recommended refusal on all the grounds that you've got written down.
I haven't finished yet. Sorry,
No,
sorry, I haven't finished yet. Following on from what Philip has said about the development while it is taking place, I think there should be an onus on the contractor to provide an on-site parking area prior to the commencement of the development. Now this has been done before, so they can put part of their development, they can put a cushion room car park for their contractors and works vehicles to take them off the main road and out of the way of the kids and
No
whatever.
contractors to park on the wall of car, can
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
You know,
They
But
like
they
that.
will do.
They will.
no,
They will
yeah.
do.
They'll
But
park
at, but
everywhere.
at a
Yeah.
site like this and this size and where it is with the school, I don't think it's much of an ask that they lay out a compound with parking prior to commencement of the development for contractors.
Yeah. Highways don't seem to bother too much about traffic management, do they? Because I think the more congested it is, the slower it moves, the less.
Well,
accidents there. I think that's
the problem
a
is
logic they tend to use.
the problem is with highways development control. It isn't local officers that are aware of the problems. It's somebody used to be sat in Jacob's Well and they do a Google exercise. But I think these are reasonably thoughtful suggestions if Bradford are mindful to approve, even though we might be, because of this list of things, be mindful to say refuse, come back when you've addressed our problems.
One of the things I do find is that these new developments, the roads are not wide enough. The access roads going in are hardly wide enough for cars to pass.
Yeah.
I think they seem to be narrower than ever.
Andrew,
Was this not previously passed for a small industrial estate?
It
has
was going to be a
been-
computer centre at one
It
time.
has
wasn't
been in the past. It was passed in 2006 and again in 2011 for a small business centre rather than industrial estate.
Do we know what it was comprising of?
Not off the top of my head.
No. Because I think that may have set a precedent with it being passed already,
Yeah.
in my view, and I agree with what everybody said around this table, particularly with highways. So I would like to be not turning it down. I would like more attention and detail on the provisions of safety, especially with the school, traffic, parking, as David said, and various other things to do with traffic safety more than anything else.
Oh, so I have a proposal for refusing it
On the grounds of.
on the grounds of,
I think we'll do it by email to make sure it's all right.
and
Should we do
are we,
that?
are we
a
second that?
list of
There is a precedent, and there were some live work units passed on there, which, you know, if you're an accountant or a seamstress or whatever, you had a room above your garage, which could be your office, could be a little workshop, and I think that was the first application. It then went to sort of more of an industrial unit.
I recollect there was something to do with computers, computer centre or something, wasn't there?
It was an industrial site, yes.
Is that what
I
it
don't
is?
know what was going in it, supposedly.
We need a seconder to Philippa's proposal.
I think it will get passed, but I think whatever we do, we need to make Bradford Council be mindful.
I think it's important that these are the conditions we would like to see on it, isn't it? And at the moment, we'd like to see them addressed before
we pass
it.
further comment.
I will second Philippa's proposal to
second.
refuse on
On
the.
those grounds. Yeah.
So those in favour of Philippa's proposal and seconded by Rachel, please show your hands.
Yeah. Unanimous.
Unanimous. Thank you very much for that, Philippa.
But do you want me to
David,
drop a,
Yeah.
you do your bits and I'll do mine. And
Send me the email.
Yeah.
I've written loads down, so.
Thank you, Alan.
No, that's all right.
it's going to
Number
happen,
two.
but we need to
Yeah.
ensure.
Number 2, 23/02/039 11 Bracken Park, Gilstead. Mr. Fenton.
Shall I-
You read it, I can't read that.
Right. Well, my note says okay. It's the 20-year-old development-ish at the back of the Glen Public House on Gilstead Lane.
Oh, them big houses up
The
there.
big houses up there.
5-bedroom job, is it?
25 years.
Is it 25?
Yeah, because it was built at the same time as my parents'
Oh, right,
house. We
okay.
were thinking of buying over that side.
So we've been up and had a look. The property is in a large garden. It is well separated from another neighbour. I don't have an issue.
Are you
We'll be
recommending
happy to
reviewing it?
approve.
And do we have a seconder for that?
I'll second it.
All in favour? Thank you.
The options.
Number 3, 23/01975 Philippa. Please.
We had this one back in April
thought we had
and
this
we
one before.
approved it and Bradford rejected it because they said that the extension at the back that was being proposed went beyond the 3 metre limit for a semi-detached, well non-detached property.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I can see for the plans that have been submitted with this reapplication, nothing has changed. And I suspect the householder and Bradford might get into a dispute because as far as I can see, it's the standard back of a house with a bit of an offset. So the garage is there, it then comes out, you've got the back of the house and then it went in and then you've got the conservatory. So if you measure what their extension, which replaces the conservatory, if you measure it from the back of the bulk of the house, it's 3 metres. If you measure it from the inset where the conservatory was, it's 3.6. So I can't see that Bradford won't refuse it again because nothing has changed.
I think the issue previously, they tried to do it under permitted development rights.
Yes,
Rather than
indeed.
planning
Rather than
application.
planning.
Yeah.
Planning
Right.
application.
So I would imagine now it's come in as a planning application, it will be hopefully approved. But because it didn't fulfil the criteria of what they were applying for, that's why it got refused. And we should have noted that it's 3 metres, not 3.4, and maybe said something.
But it's literally 3 on one side and 3.6 on the other.
It's a technicality, really, you know.
Yes,
So-
it's technically
So what are you
we'll
saying
approve
then?
it.
Yeah.
You're going to approve it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We approved
Seconded?
it last time.
We do.
All in favour? Well, we've got to approve it again then, haven't we? Number 4, 23/02053, Sheriff Pines. I did solve this one at William, but obviously he's not here tonight.
Well, I've had a look at this. It's a substantial size plot. Every house is totally and utterly different in design and everything, and I don't have an issue with it.
So you're recommending approval?
Second it.
Seconded, all in favour? Thank you. Number 5, 23/02086. Mr. Ashraf Mir, Councillor Mir, please.
Yeah, I know the areas. I think in that area, probably Howard knows as well.
Yes.
There's a fair few semi-detached houses. I think this is one of the semi-detached houses. I think what they're trying to construct is a small porch at the front. I don't know if there's not that many places. It's kind of a straightforward one.
No, this is the one.
And I think they're keeping with the existing, exterior and that. They want to keep it there. They're keeping the roofing and the windows are going to be in line with the other properties in that area. They're proposing, I think, a living room and a shower area. If you look
Which
at that,
document do you want, sorry? Oh, the development plan.
yeah,
Existing.
existing and the new one, yeah.
So that's existing.
Yeah, it's a single-story extension.
So we don't want to look at proposed
Can you
then?
make that a little bit bigger?
Yeah,
From here, I can't see.
you see that, yeah.
Existing side. Ah, that's that.
And then just scroll down.
That's
Yeah.
what, that's small
Yeah.
at the moment.
That's
So
a significant increase
Yeah,
in
the-
size.
What are we
increase.
looking to do?
And then can we look at the proposed?
They want to do a single story at the side of the property and a small porch at the front. They're
That's the
building.
proposed.
So,
But if
in
you're-
terms of the design and everything, it doesn't look, too bad.
If you actually look in the back garden, there's
Yeah.
a significantly large
Yeah.
extension already built in the back garden. Now, whether the culmination of them all together,
There's already an extension. As
It's
you say, yeah.
huge.
It's already they've got an extension already
So,
on there,
on the
which
back.
is, I presume, which
I
is
must
the
admit,
kitchen and
I've
dining
not even
area.
been round to have a look.
The
so I
kitchen
don't know.
dining area. If you look at the, there's
Obviously, that
another.
looks like the extension, doesn't it?
No, there's
no,
another
the
one.
extension is right. If you go back to
To the
the
plan. I think there might be.
So where the kitchen is,
Yeah.
that
So
looks mostly like an extension, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it
yeah,
And I
just
think
goes
they're
out.
trying to do the extended, trying to adjoin it to
Kitchen's nearly as big as
the
the
dining
house.
room as well.
it's,
Yeah.
the culmination of them is way above, sort of 40% of the original property because we've already got the large extension on the back and with time
Yeah.
filled siding and fronting. I think it's overdevelopment.
So do I, size and mass as well.
So Ashraf,
Either
what does it look like on? What's the street scene?
it's at the end of it, it's not overlooking anything on the back type of thing. It's like I don't know if you've got the map or location or
Location
is
plan.
that gives you an idea
please.
there. There.
It's in the middle of
Some
the
some of the
road,
properties
isn't it?
are as well. They're larger.
Well, some of them have got other bits on them.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. So
That actually doesn't show its extension.
no, it doesn't show. Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the extension's already approved. The first part of it, obviously, which is already done in terms of the dining room and the kitchen and everything.
I
So
think a lot of the houses seem to have little bits added on, don't
yeah,
they?
they do.
yeah.
They do.
So
So my was really, go for approval. And there is any kind of comments from.
David, were
Council
you
officers,
saying?
I know you.
I still look at it that it'll be compared to the original property. It's a very combined altogether, it's very, very large. The 4 to the right are already terraced. By the time they get their side extension on, it's going to increase that terracing effect right down that block there. But I'm minded to refuse.
If you want to
Well,
recommend approval, I'd support.
I'll take Ashraf's proposal first. That he's proposing.
Because I've seen some of the other
approval.
properties in around the area as well, and they.
Do we
They're
have
all
a se-
piggly, aren't they?
Do we have a seconder for Ashraf's proposal?
Yeah, I propose.
I'd second that.
Really.
All those in favour of Ashraf's proposal? All those against?
Yeah, so.
4 and 3 against.
So is that? It was.
So
He won.
You win.
Yeah.
Well, they won.
But at the end of the day, ultimately, as you say,
It's a Bradford
I think it's a
Yeah.
Bradford decision. So even I think
Yeah.
sometimes we make the decision why it's Bradford
Well, yeah.
as well. So
Number 6,
Quality of build on other ones.
Canal Road.
yeah,
23/0 225 25 Canal Road, Bingley, Philippa.
This is a smallish single-storey rear extension. I couldn't really see anything wrong with it.
Does it go back
Approving.
further than 3 metres?
It doesn't. It goes back 3 metres.
Excellent.
I'll propose it.
Gandrew proposed, Philippa seconded, all in favour.
Yeah.
Wow, that was quick.
Sorry, what do we say about number 4? Did we approve it or reject it?
Approve.
Approve it. And number 3, sorry.
Approve.
Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7, 23/0 2091 Ashraf, 14
Yeah.
Westwood Crescent.
with this one is it was a kind of a initially I thought it was kind of a strange kind of situation. You know, I mean, it's a kind of a private house. They wanted to turn it into a kind of a, how can I say, care support kind of
Yes, it is, isn't it?
you know, program where they're giving access to 24 hours. You know, I mean, for two people living in the property. What they're really trying to do is they're not trying to modify it too much. What they're trying to do is one of the bedroom they want to convert it into an office. I would presume for probably the care staff, and there's 2 bedrooms where they'll be looking after kind of 24 kind of 7. And in terms of the proposal itself, really there isn't much changes really, apart from they're also putting some safety windows they're adding onto the property, and a few other things as well, you know, escape routes, you know, I mean, from that, you know, meeting with the regulation, and they're putting all kinds of, to meet that kind of regulation, they're putting all the smoke alarm bells and all the other things to make it adaptable, really.
So they're converting it they're converting the use, that's what they're after.
Exactly, yeah,
They're not
that's right.
actually, don't look as though they're building anything on it.
No, they're not. Just if you look at it,
They just changed.
I
one
think
of
there's
those
just that bedroom they're turning into, you know, the
office, yeah.
yeah, that's turning into office, and keeping
And it's all within,
That's it.
isn't it?
Office
Yeah.
space, yeah.
yeah.
So, do we have a proposer?
Hang
We
on,
haven't got to
we haven't
propose
got
it
to
yet.
this yet.
Yeah, gone, yeah.
David?
Well, I'd had his paw up first.
I think it's an admirable idea, but the location of it stands somewhat to be desired, because you can't actually see on that particular map, but the severity of the gradient down to that building is like a cresta run, to say the least.
Westwood Crescent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Westwood is.
As our
Yes, it
colleagues
is,
rightly
isn't it?
said,
Yes.
they're going to form an office for someone to be in.
Yeah.
When we were there, you couldn't actually get down to the property because all the cars were parked everywhere. It is extremely narrow, and I just don't see if there's a requirement for an ambulance or somebody becomes ill. I see issues with access to it.
Yeah.
And a number of potentially my thoughts similar was if it's 24-hour care, that's most likely 1 to 2 people there on site with the residents, never mind anything else that might come in. You've also got 2 cars turning up there. That whole cul-de-sac is substandard for what's already there, never mind introducing additional vehicles at all times of day and night.
Is this someone's home that's being converted into a care home for them to continue living in it?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yes, I
something
think
that's
so.
being...
It was, yes.
Who's actually applied for it?
I'm confused why you'd need to though. If you were
Yeah.
continuing living in your own home,
you just get carers in 24.
Yeah,
This is
so
more
I-
like a business.
They'll be getting a grant from somewhere. That's what it'll be. That
No,
per count, is
I
it?
think the idea is absolutely
Yeah.
splendid.
Yeah.
It's just the location of this particular
So it's
property.
a company then, isn't it? That's supplying.
I think the company's
Right,
applying.
safe spaces, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a business.
Again, Ashraf, are you proposing?
I'm a bit, to be honest with this one, I'm a bit sympathetic, and I think I'm looking at in terms of, you know, these people without this kind of support. I don't know if they're doing it for business purposes and that, or because I you know, I mean, it's just making an assumption and that lot. But I think it's a well needed kind of services if these people really need it and this and that. I don't see much change in terms of, obviously, in terms of their change of use. I don't see, you know, I mean, they're doing that much, and obviously
So
you're
do we
talking
have
about
a s-
ambulances and that. There'll be other properties in that area which are going to have the same kind of issues and problems as well.
So
So
if you increase the vehicular traffic down there, it's
just
constrained
it's going to be
as it is. When we went, you
Yeah.
couldn't park down Westwood
Yeah.
Crescent at
Seen that,
all. And this was a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
It was mayhem.
Do we have?
But that's the
But
same.
the print-
That's the same anyway for the house, isn't it?
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was-
but
yeah.
you've got people that are needing to be cared for rather than just somebody living there that's fit and able. You're going to introduce additional vehicles that need to get there into that area. Principle of doing it right, maybe that's just not the right side.
Do we have a seconder for Ashraf's proposal, please?
Well, I propose. I understand the logistics, but I'll propose because I think you know, caring
You'll
for community
second
is
it.
a big issue.
yeah,
And
You'll
it's a massive
second it.
I'm
issue.
going on that. You know, I mean,
Right, all those
Just
in
change it
favour.
from-
All those
yeah.
in favour of
Yeah.
Ashraf's proposal,
Right.
Yeah.
It's just me and Ashley.
yeah, so it's, yeah, that's
and those against.
Yeah.
I think for the reasons David
Yeah,
stated.
I think so. Sorry,
Oh,
Ashraf.
no, I don't have a thing.
I'm abstaining.
Yeah,
The,
yeah,
the
no,
principle's
The principle's
fine, but
fantastic.
Yes,
the
yes,
property-
I think-
Location.
yeah.
I think we all agree the
It's the wrong
principle's a good
property.
idea, but
Yeah.
And was it not for
because-
two?
There was only for two people, wasn't it? That was
Seems
sort
like
of-
a bit
So if two
crazy
for,
business plan.
four
It is,
against
yeah.
and one abstention.
I don't understand it.
yeah.
Yeah, but if the
What
people are
reference
needing
is it
care,
underground
That's
of?
what I was.
No,
If it was for the
And a lot of care.
owner to have care in the house,
We
with
have
people
approved
coming
it.
and going,
Oh, it's
they
been
wouldn't
approved.
need
No, it's
planning
been approved.
permission or anything of
Yeah,
that
sorry.
nature.
Which one? Sorry.
they've got to live there with them. So it
Yeah,
looks
we're
like
approving
this,
it.
yeah.
Ashraf.
And introducing another
No, but it
outside
hasn't been-
body.
Right.
Howard, I don't think it's been passed, is it?
Yeah, we've just voted on it.
But
Yeah,
I
we
think there
voted
was
against it.
Against it, you voted
Yeah, I
against
was
it.
saying, I thought-
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, come on now with your chairman.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
right.
refusal,
Shouldn't
but
be
on what
here.
grounds?
Rejection on grounds
Highway
of
safety.
highway safety. Is that sufficient?
That's the only principle, yeah.
Yeah, highway safety.
If it had been further round where you've easy access, wouldn't have been an issue, but that road, and particularly in the winter, if that road gets a bit
Yeah.
of ice on it, it'll just be a
But
nightmare.
yeah, the only thing is going to be one car probably coming in extra. That's
We,
apart from.
we don't know.
Well,
It's
my-
it's
yeah,
No way of
two,
knowing, is
two
there?
people, 24 hours, that could be 2 or 3 cars, visiting, physio, you could
Hairdresser.
have-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, we've voted on it.
Oh, anyway, no, it's all right.
Can we
It's
move
done.
on, please?
It's done anyway.
It's done now.
now.
Can we move on? Number 8, 23/02253, 23 Cavendish Drive, Eldwick. Councillor Hazeltine.
Right,
please.
yeah, we totted along there. Cavendish has a whole host of different designs and varieties. However, the double-storey side extension, in my view, with its proximity to its neighbours, would just lead to a terracing effect. There would be hardly any gap. It would have to go right up. Next door has almost a small
Yeah.
extension there. There's also
Single
not readily good parking outside the property. There's quite a few little properties and it does get a bit. But my main thing would be the terracing effect. And when you look, it's a double-storey side, and something round the back. It's a significant increase in the property size again. I'd be going for no.
So it sounds though you're refusing it.
I would go for refusal.
Can we
on
see
the
it,
terracing
please, Chair?
effect, yeah.
On the grounds of, sorry.
Not going to see the plans, please.
Documents. She's having to write, unfortunately,
Yeah,
Nicola's
alright.
having to write it instead of being able to type it tonight because her
Proposed
computer
plan
is
stuff.
knackered.
Yeah.
So This is a
I just
bit.
think they're asking a bit much.
No, is that proposed? Is that proposed?
So these are the proposed.
Proposed ones.
Yeah.
So can we see the? Can we see the existing then, please? Oh, an existing rear. Yeah, the bottom on them.
So is that the same one?
Thank you. So this is how it is.
And if you notice that bottom corner's fairly tightly together of them semis.
What bottom left?
Well, with the location
Yeah,
plan.
the little red location plan at the top. The
Oh.
two pairs of semis there are
Yeah.
It's the
particularly close
smallest plot
together.
there is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
That's existing and proposed. Can we just
Proposed
nip back
fills
to the
that gap.
proposed? Nicola, please? Can we just go back to the
That's
proposed screen, please? Thank you.
What's it like on the street? Do they have many
Well,
extensions?
there's only those
got a
four
plot,
at that
isn't it?
corner. Yeah, there's only four, two pairs of semis on that little stretch.
Plot's not big enough, is it?
No.
So David is
Very tight.
proposing refusal on the grounds of.
Overdevelopment and
Terracing.
terracing, street scene terracing.
Are we a seconder for that? Ashraf?
Go on, yeah, let's-
All in favour?
It's over.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Been greedy.
Number 9, 23/023-109 Healy Avenue, Bingley. Rachel.
Yeah, this has been rejected in the past. I'm not quite sure what our decision was. This is just going down Bradford Road. You've just passed the house sort of shops, Chinese takeaway, fish and chips on your right. You turn on your left, and you know there's loads of little sort of cul-de-sacs down there. I read sort of their statement, which addresses the concerns of the previous rejection, which they seem to have addressed. They've included also some pictures of other houses on the street, which are consistent with what they want, although there are different types of houses on the street. You know, there are some sort of terrace houses, there are some semi-detached. I mean, I don't really see a problem with it, to be honest. I'd approve it.
David.
I think I would concur with that. It's as you go down towards Healy Lane, there's a row of terrace houses, for want of a better word. I think they call them townhouses these days. This is then on a corner, but there's quite a significant section of land on that corner, which is basically their garden. I didn't have a problem
We
with it.
propose.
So Rachel is
I propose-
proposing
I'll
Second
approval.
that.
Seconded.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you. Number 10, 23/02340 Scarwood Close. Councillor Fenton
You'll
or
have to
Councillor
ask.
Heseltine?
The scribble writer.
Right, we didn't pay to
Ground
have any. That's the big one off Bramhope. We went to Bramhope. There's a little one going up reasonably modern properties.
Oh, yeah,
It was
right.
a corner one, reasonable sized plot.
I don't think it has any adverse effect on
Approving
anything.
it?
Proof.
Seconder?
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yep.
You.
She says no issue.
Number 11, let's turn my page over. 23/02347 20 Ferndean, Bingley. Back to Councillors Fenton and Heseltine.
Right, we've had a look at Ferndean,
Please.
traditional properties. Not one of them has a dormer on, which surprised us. So this would be out of character. The properties are quite small, so if you stick what appears to be quite a large dormer on top, it would look really out of place. It's as you go up Ferncliff from the medical centre.
Yeah.
There's a right turn which is Powell, which is a long terrace road, which there again I don't think had any dormers on, and then Ferndean is the unmade one.
Right.
There are some with single story side extensions, but I think it would just look so out of place to that street scene if you stuck,
Please,
if
Jared,
you
on
stuck a
that.
big
Come
knobbly.
on a bit, Nicola. Sorry.
Maybe at the back, but not to the front as
Well,
well.
it's
It's
there,
just going to look so
Here we are. What do you want
incongruous.
to look at?
The proposed one. Sorry, both if you want. Existing and proposed.
Floor plans.
Elevation.
Elevations.
Existing
Existing.
elevations, existing.
Usually, if people are putting up dormers, they usually put it on one side, don't they? And the other side usually.
I'm
is skylight.
looking at Google Maps
Yeah.
now, and literally not a single one's
Yeah,
a dormer.
There's none.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what-
nothing.
look at these.
And they are small, narrow properties,
elevations.
which, because of the road, they're actually significantly higher than the road
Yeah, it
level.
looks like-
So
I
that's
think it makes it look into a 3-storey
That's
building.
existing.
No, it's proposed.
Oh, that's
That's
proposed.
existing.
Yeah.
And they're not
Yeah, they're
proposed.
massive, aren't they?
Yeah, it's
So what
it's
are we
just our
saying?
character.
What are we saying?
We feel street scene, our character, out of the local vernacular,
proposing-
shall we say.
Refusal on the grounds of it's out of
Character in the street scene.
Street scene, local vernacular, whatever you want to put it. It's,
do we have a seconder for that? And are we all in favour? Thank you. Companion number 12, 23/02081. Again, Councillor Ashraf Mayor,
Yeah.
and he is right on the boundary.
I think it's probably out of our boundaries. Yeah, it falls.
It's
into
very, it is
It's on
actually
hard.
right
I know it's
on
a
the
boundary,
boundary.
isn't it? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
but it's hardened anyway. But anyway, it's a. I think the proposal. I think of agricultural shed and associate hard standing is a. It's a farm itself. I think already they're using that. If you look at that site,
I think you'll get the
already
nod
for
without a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sheds it up.
they're using it as a menage area for horses and storage. So what they're trying to do is like build a hut standing on a surface, a large
Yeah.
shed of you. Is that coming up?
I've not been able to get
Yeah,
online at all for this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's not coming up.
Is
So
it
you
coming
can't
up?
find out
Alright.
exactly which bit of
Yeah.
Alter Lane it is.
So
It's if you look at it, it's a large piece of plot. I think they're using half of
No,
that
none of those files will open.
plot, and they're using the building itself. I think they're using it with. It's nice, you know. I've had a look at it. I don't know if you had a look at it. It's
No, I
nice.
didn't.
They've got some wooden structure
Yes.
as well, and with a metal, you know, I mean, sheeting going around and everything. What they're planning to do is like use it for animals, you know, especially with rough weather and
Yeah, yeah.
this and that. So I think the problem would have been in terms of the noise. There isn't that many properties in around the area,
Three properties.
and especially if you do have machinery inside there, obviously there's not going to be any kind of noises as well.
I can't see it
And
being
with
a
this
problem.
initiative as well, I think also it's going to create some jobs as well
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the farming industry as well. So I
So
I
you
feel that
approve?
Is it already a farm?
it is, yes,
They'll
and
get the nod anyway.
yeah, they would,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So you
not
approve it?
Proposing for, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah,
Farmers want to farm.
yeah,
And I'll second
It's
it.
just as a question, it's not Greenbelt.
yeah,
Well,
no, yeah.
there are issues still within the countryside, and I think that's why it would have been good to actually
Have a look.
have a look at
Yeah.
the site of it. And I've
Yeah.
had this all the way through trying to get on because I used to know somebody that
Yeah.
had one of those farm buildings. They have long gone moved. And it would have just been interesting how it's going to fit in with the other agricultural. Is it going to stick out like a sore thumb, or is it actually going to
Yeah.
blend in with the other collection of buildings?
Yeah.
Well, when
I looked at the,
proposed-
you know, I don't know if anybody had a chance to have a look at it.
Yeah.
The building itself, it looked, you know, I mean, fairly nice, in line, you know,
I'll
with
second,
the area
yeah.
and that.
Ashraf has proposed and I
All
seconded.
yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah,
All in favour? Please show. Yeah, that's everybody. 23, 24, 30 to agree the date Tuesday the 8th of August 2023 and 23, 24 exclusion present public